So this picture here talks about the horror and the war in full Paris. And so right away it looks that there are several similarities and differences between this is a terrorist attack on 911. By the way, this happened on Black Friday yesterday. And so immediately after 911, President Bush declared that he's going to get after these people who are responsible. And 50 years after, we see that he did go after Afghanistan and Iraq and almost wrecked the economy and almost pushed the whole world into bankruptcy and climatic end. And so I thought that perhaps President Francois Hollande might have taken a page from this and remember history and just be a little cautious. He already believes ISIS, and I don't know if he's going to talk about they have weapons of mass destruction, whatever it's going to be his further strategies to get into the Middle East. But it's easy to get into the Middle East, but it's so difficult to get out. I hope that he realized that he might have to put troops on the ground, and that these wars tend to morph into a variety of unexpected turns and twists. And also, these guys who are in ISIS, they have family members that aren't supporting ISIS, and they're in all walks of life in the Middle East there. And when you kill one of them, their family's going to mourn, and perhaps some of them are going to radicalize and come into different organizations. So I just wish that President Hollande would be a little more cautious and perhaps look at what could be some of the effects: more refugees into Europe, more terrorists into Europe. Perhaps he should say, well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go and rebuild Syria. I'm going to rebuild Iraq. I'm going to rebuild Afghanistan. To me, that would be a little more practical sort of a response to this terrorist act. Hey, I might be wrong, but I think pledging war and blood and death and whatever is just, in my view, short-sighted and too without even thought. To me, it looks as if somebody knew something was coming down and already had a speech written, etc. So I wish that, my condolences to those people who lost relatives in Paris. But also, I'm cautioning this president to be very careful. Don't try to impress anybody, because, man, I tell you, after 20 years, by the way, when I studied history about the Middle Ages and the Crusades and all that in the Middle East, they had wars in those days, a 30-year war. I don't know if he's prepared for a 50-year war. I mean, I don't care one side or the other, but I'm just saying is that, you got to be careful with things you say. You might be impassionate and hurt by what happened, but you might even further escalate the problems and create more problems for yourself. Bankrupting France, bankrupting NATO. Man, I don't think this thing is going to end beautifully. But as I said, I think something positive could come out of this. Let us rebuild the Middle East.